Benjamin, you're on mute.
Is that better?
Yes.
All right. We are waiting for a few more folks to come on in. Christina, can you tell me, is the Facebook Live showing? Is it working? I can't hear you, Christina. You can use your hands or unmute.
Unmute Christina to answer.
Yep, it looks like we are live.
We're live. All right.
Hi, everyone.
Good to see you, Amanda and Christina and Gail and Jody and John. Glad you've joined us. All right, here we go. Here, let's get this presentation up. Hold on a second here. All right. Debbie, is it showing full screen now? Debbie Fries?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, great. All right. Well, my name's Benjamin. Eager to be with you today. I'm with Kelch Communities, Director of People and Culture. And I want to introduce Debbie Russell, who is one of our board members, and she will be reading the, was it Debbie? Sorry, my notes say Debbie Russell. So Debbie Fries is also co-hosting with me today. And we have asked, I believe it's Debbie Russell, to read the mission statement before we get started. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Debbie.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Loving Them Forward is a community of people that have been taking care of family members and seniors through life transitions personally and professionally. We are committed to improving the well-being of caregivers in our community by providing free support, education, and resources for the care of seniors and loved ones. Family caregivers and seniors don't have to do it all alone.
Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Christina Keys, Loving Them Forward co-founder and president, as she has some things to share with us. Go ahead, Christina.
Oh, of course. Okay. Okay, I'm unmuted. Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you. Go for it.
Okay, fabulous. So today, what we're going to be talking about, first of all, I want to say to everybody, thank you so much for joining us today for our June Loving Them Forward meeting. And today we are going to be talking about some very, very exciting things that are going on in Loving Them Forward. We've recently gone from 3 board members to 6 board members and 4 members of the advisory board. So you are all going to get to meet those lovely folks today. And we're also going to be talking about our new campaign that's coming up called Take a Seat, which is sponsored by Monroe and Kent Home. And Richard is going to be here today to talk about Monroe and Kent as well. And I'll be talking about the campaign. And then we're going to go to the huge celebration of the Loving Them Forward 1-year anniversary. 6/19 was our 1-year anniversary. So we're really excited you guys are here today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Christina. Really appreciate that. Now, just to show you who our board members are, and we have a few new ones who we'll ask to share a little bit about themselves and why they joined the board. We have Christina, who's president and co-founder, Debbie, who's the marketing chairperson, also with Home Instead Senior Living, Senior Care, and we have Debbie Russell, who's treasurer and co-founder, and we're so grateful that they're part of our board. And then we have Linda Melton, who is our new vice president. Linda, would you share with us a little bit about why you chose to join the board?
Well, I've worked at, and can you hear me now?
Can hear you great.
Okay. I've worked at Community Home Health and Hospice for over 9 years, just helping seniors and their caregivers obtain medical health services at home and enrolling them in hospice services and signing up for in-home care so they can age in place wherever that home may be. And this often involves working with physicians, nurses, and other healthcare professionals to complete necessary paperwork and navigate Medicare and other private insurance companies, and consulting to help find the best and most appropriate services that they might need. I've been involved with Friends of Hospice, End of Life Coalition, SSN, C6TC, SWEEP, Honoring Choices, Professionals in Aging, Loving Them Forward. And I volunteered for events from Alzheimer's, Hope Dementia Support, the Caring Closet. And I attend several community events such as CMAC, East Vancouver Business Association, and the Greater Vancouver Chamber of Commerce. Then in my spare time, I'm a board member and volunteer at Wildcat Ridge Sanctuary in Scotts Mill, Oregon, rescuing big cats. I'm a part-time caregiver helping to care for my husband's parents who still live in their own home in Portland. And they're 89 and 90 now, and they both have some dementia and mental and medical health issues that require frequent doctor's appointments and trips to the pharmacy and grocery shopping and meal preparation, that sort of thing. I really enjoy working with seniors and their caregivers to help them find the best resources and information that they need. And being a part of Loving Them Forward is just a great opportunity to work with other like-minded people to bring that information and resources and care to these really vulnerable individuals. So thanks for the opportunity for participation, and we're going to have a great year and do many amazing things. So thank you all.
We're so happy to have you, Linda. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, you bet.
And now we have Lori Massey, who's our board secretary. Lori, please share with us a little about yourself and why you joined the board.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know how to follow that with Linda, actually. I think I'm the only community member of the board that's not involved with my profession or my job. I got involved with Loving Them Forward basically as a family caregiver. I've been doing a little bit of behind the scenes work with Christina, doing some data entry and helping with events and that kind of stuff. And so I'm excited to be the new board secretary and maybe get a little bit more involved. I was a family caregiver for my stepfather who had heart disease and also small cell lung cancer. And then we started noticing when he was declining, my mom was not dealing real well also. And shortly after he passed, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So we lost her in March. And now I have a little bit more extra time to devote to hopefully projects and nonprofits that I can maybe give back to the community. When I needed help, people were there for me. So hopefully we can start giving some back. That's
wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, Lori. And then Michael Harding. Michael, would you share a little bit about your journey to be part of Loving Them Forward?
Yes. Well, before I begin, I have to apologize. I have 2 grandkids that just stopped by, and they're playing in the other room. So if you hear a bunch of noise, I do apologize, and I'll try to mute it when I'm not speaking so that it doesn't disturb anyone. But my journey to this point has taken a somewhat different path. I also am not a caregiver by trade. I'm a real estate agent, and but I'm a veteran, and so I spend a lot of time and energy doing things in the veteran community. I'm a semi-regular attendee to CMAC, the Community Military Appreciation Committee meeting. I'm a member of 40 and 8, which is the bingo hall on 78th. They currently own that building, but it's up for sale. So I don't know how much longer that's going to be under their care. I'm a member of the Clark County Veteran Advisory Board. I'm a lifetime member of the VFW, currently serving as the adjutant and service officer. I volunteer at the VA clinic. I drive the golf cart around picking up veterans and their family members and making sure that they get to the proper location. And I do some work with the American Red Cross. I am a disaster action team member. So if you hear about a fire at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm one of the people that they call. My wife loves it when she has to go to work the next day. And I also do services to armed forces, and that's for anyone that's stationed or deployed elsewhere. And an event happens, a death, a diagnosis, a birth, something like that. What I do is I do the follow-up with the family to make sure that the service member has made contact with them, and if need be, that the service member has a way to get home. So I help out with that. Pardon me. And then lastly, I'm with the Red Cross, serving in the capacity of the Veteran Affairs Voluntary Services representative for Southwest Washington. And so in all those dealings with veterans and veteran organizations, one day it dawned on me that the majority of the veterans that I was dealing with are in the senior citizen category, the Vietnam era, and not so many World War II veterans, but the Korean War veterans. And so that just kind of pulled me in that direction. And as a real estate agent, I came up with an idea of, instead of trying to get senior citizens to sell their homes, why not keep them in the home so that they can age in place and be in a familiar environment. And so I approached Dick Halverson with that idea, and we took off with the program called Living with Dignity. And we went in and I think it was close to 20 projects. We went and made slight modifications from grab bars to installation of ramps, just yard work, pulling weeds, doing things like that for veterans, disabled, elderly, and there's one more that's escaping me right now, so I do apologize. But I also joined SWEEP, and so just a lot of different things that led me to this path. And I met Christina at various social networking events, and we continued a conversation, and she asked me to join, and so I am thoroughly looking forward to the possibility of helping people in our community, you know, as they get older, and do what I can with the resources and connections that I have within the community to try to make life better for those that we serve.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michael. And thanks for being a part of the team.
you.
You're going to make a big difference here. Thank you. And now we have 4 advisory council members who have joined the Loving Them Forward crew, and we're excited to have them on the call today. So we're going to start with Dick Halverson. Dick, you're going to go ahead and unmute. There we go.
Hi. So am I supposed to brag or just read it as an obituary column? What do you want me to do?
Just tell us why you want to be part of the Loving Them Forward Advisory Council.
Well, some of you know this and maybe some don't, but I've been involved in the field of gerontology for 48 years. I started out of graduate school at University of Oregon, and ever since I've been involved in a variety of things. But one thing I've learned is that caregivers are the backbone of long-term care, and they don't necessarily get the recognition, the pay, or many times the job experience they really deserve for the efforts they put on. I know when we founded Senior Hero Awards, one of the things that we included was recognizing caregivers in that. That started 4 years ago. And some of you on this call have been, part of that organization, and we're always excited about recognizing the people that are doing that. I have my own personal experiences in caregiving with parents, and my favorite outlaws or in-laws, and all the way to my neighbor across the street, doing things for him in terms of house maintenance, yard work, taking him to the doctor, shopping, that type of stuff. And there's just a tremendous need out there for people to pitch in and help those that maybe aren't as able to help themselves as they used to be. So what I see in Loving Them Forward is the mission. That's something that caught my attention. Of course, I've met most of you, probably 70, 80% of you, but all of us are tied into the mission and making a difference that way. And so from my viewpoint, I just want to bring whatever experience I have to the organization to help them move forward and establish themselves as a premier organization, and providing opportunities for not only people like us, but the employees, the staff that we have out there in long-term care organizations, and also to make sure we take care of our clients in ways we can. Michael mentioned the fact that, doing home repairs, things like this is essential. I can assure you that when I was back in Sandy Senior Center in Sandy, Oregon, forming that program as their first director, home repairs was a critical issue then. And it's amazing how many things don't change from one generation to the other. And so for me, the idea is that, we all want to celebrate birthdays, but having to deal with the accumulation of years sometimes is not as much fun. So I heard somebody say once that it's not how old you are that's important as much as how you feel and how you can interact and continue the lifestyle you'd like to live. So this is all about independent living, and that's why I think Loving Them Forward has a great opportunity to serve the community.
Thank you, Dick. So thankful that you're part of the team. Really appreciate it. Okay, Dee, let's hear from you. Thanks again for joining.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much. I became involved with Loving Them Forward, working with Christine in the past. She did some fundraisers for the Friends of Hospice. I've been involved with them for over 20 plus years, and I still sit on the board. I've also been involved with Dick with CDM Services. I also sit on the board there. And I'm also involved with the Hazeldale Salmon Creek Business Association. So I have been involved in all of these different groups and boards, and recently retired from Glenwood Place Senior Living and was a community outreach coordinator there, and really grew very fond of the senior population. My father will be 99 next month, so we're planning a big party, and he resides at Glenwood. So I take him to the doctor's appointments, as Linda was mentioning with her in-laws. So I am basically a caregiver with him as well. And I also helped take care of my mother before she passed. And then my significant other, he passed, and I had hospice come in. So I have some experience, and I think it's important that we honor our caregivers. As Dick said, they go unrecognized, and that's really, really sad. You do it because you love it, and because you want to make a better life for them. So I'm very, very happy to be on the advisory council. I've seen what Christina has done with her mother, and it's absolutely wonderful. She's to be commended because she basically neglected herself, and that's what we want to try to avoid. So I'm very honored to be a part of the organization. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Dee. We're so excited that you're not staying in retirement completely, but helping us out. We're so thankful. Laura Gazarian, thank you for joining the council. Would you share with everybody?
Hey, am I unmuted? There we go.
Yes.
All right. So thank you for welcoming me. I'm not a new face. I'm an old face, not just because I'm a person of age, but because I first met Christina right at the beginning of Loving Them Forward. In fact, I was the former vice president until I had to reconfigure my life to accommodate the many roles that I have, including the fact that I'm a live-in full-time caregiver for someone who is losing their vision rapidly. And in fact, just today we realized that most of the right eye is now completely gone. So this is a whole new wrinkle today. I'm not from the area, and I am on the outside looking in when it comes to Clark County. So I see things from an outsider's perspective, and I often bring that to the table, as Christina will attest to. But my background it's joined at the heart with many of you. My first caregiving experience was with my father, and being the last person with him before he passed away from cancer. And that started to open my eyes. And then as I have moved through my life, I found myself in different caregiving roles. I spent 20 plus years in the nonprofit arena working with public health mostly, public health research management, and which is interesting because that same organization is now helping with the contact tracing here in Portland area. So I'm going to be able to see some of my friends as they are coming up to help manage those programs. I really do believe that community involvement and social interactions are the key to success. And so I try to stay as involved everywhere that I can. So in addition to working full-time for Two Men and a Truck, which is a professional moving company that has a focus on working with the senior living communities, people who are downsizing for one reason or another. In addition to that, I'm also on the Beaverton Committee on Aging. That was a new thing this year, and as well as I serve as an ambassador for the Beaverton Area Chamber of Commerce. Always trying to bring the senior aspect to whatever I do, and to promote the fact that businesses out there need to see the caregivers and open up to them and respect the idea that just because somebody's coming in with a disability and they're trying to take care of them, don't focus on just that person, focus on the person behind them, because they're the ones that are invisible. I guess that's really all I have to say right now. I'm looking forward to moving forward with Loving Them Forward. It's one of those things you can't walk away from it. Once caregiving is in your blood, it stays there. And so while I had to step back from one role, I was very, very grateful to be considered in this other role.
Thank you, Laura. So glad you did come back. That's quite a testimony. Thank you. Joey Yorchek, hey, you're up, my friend. Thanks so much for being a part of the advisory council. Please tell us about your journey to Loving Them Forward.
Well, thank you, Benjamin, and I'm happy to be here. Now, this is an advisory council for Loving Them Forward.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh gosh, I think I got the wrong one. I think this is the wrong call. I'm kidding, of course. No, honestly, I think that, I'll just kind of touch on the Loving Them Forward piece. And, I've been there, I've known Christina for a while now when she was with Caring Transitions. That's kind of our first interaction. And then, of course, following some of the senior resource fairs that she did. And so sort of being there, I guess, from the beginning with the Loving Them Forward project in a non-official capacity. But, I certainly loved the idea of what she was doing for family caregivers and putting together a way for resources to be accessed easily. I certainly just thought, wow, this is a great idea. And, I know at the time she talked about family caregivers. And, I work for Elfin Services, which happens to be a professional agency of caregivers. And so I wanted to really help support the organization and bring in some of the perspective from a professional caregiver's point, because a lot of the same emotions and a lot of the same struggles that family caregivers go through, professionals caregivers go through the same thing. And so I really wanted to just be there to support the organization and help make it, spread the awareness about the organization. And I guess you could say that, I've been sort of involved in the care industry for a good 15 years or so. I've kind of been on different sides of it from, I served as in the capacity of a court-appointed guardian in Washington State. And I did that for about 11 or 12 years. And so that definitely gave me a lot of perspective into, local government benefits like Medicaid, and then sort of what are those resources that are available there. And, sort of seeing a different side of how people live, and also seeing, sort of, some of the struggles that, let's just say, for example, that the Medicaid clients do have. I think that definitely there is a little bit of a lack of proper care in certain places. And I think that's really, what sort of inspired me to make the transition into working for a caregiving agency and being in more of a role as a caregiver. And of course, we also do care management. So sort of a good combination of some of that fiduciary work that I did from the financial side, but then also managing people's healthcare and sort of taking it over to Elfin Services. And I think, infusing some of that knowledge that I have from the guardianship world. And then of course, using the information in this little brain of mine to share it with Loving Them Forward, and again, sort of bring the community together with an easy way to access all these resources. And, sort of just working as the, caregiver for the agency, I became a certified nursing assistant. And I certainly just realized that, I want to make it easy for people because it is difficult. Caregiving is a tough job. And so because I'd already been supporting Loving Them Forward in an unofficial capacity, I decided I would love to be an advisory council member and help you guys out so that we can sort of continue to promote the resources, the education for family caregivers, as well as the professional caregivers.
You rock. Thank you so much, Joey. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
So Christina, can you tell us about the new campaign that you're getting ready to launch?
I can, absolutely. We are so incredibly excited to launch our new campaign, and it is sponsored by Monroe and Kent, Where Home Happens. And what it is, it's Take a Seat. What we're going to do is we're going to have some amazing pieces of furniture, some amazing chairs, not only for us to sit in, but a couple for our pets to sit in too, that are from Monroe and Kent. These are high-end pieces that are beautiful. Richard's going to tell you more about those. We're going to have caregivers come in, and we're going to have them share their story, their caregiving story, because so many times caregivers will come in and they'll say, oh, well, I caregived from distance, or I was a professional caregiver. So each caregiver story is different, but the feelings and the emotions are very common. And so that's one of the things that we want to portray in this when the caregivers are telling the story. We're going to videotape that. And then the super exciting part is we're going to be auctioning off these chairs. So everybody will have a chance to bid on those items. And some lucky winner of each particular bid will take home some fabulous pieces. And we'll go ahead and turn it over to Richard now, because he's going to tell us a little bit about Monroe and Kent. And we want to say thank you so much to them for sponsoring this.
Thank you, Christina. It never ceases to amaze me, the enthusiasm and the passion that you have for whatever you do. So it's a joy for us to be involved in this. Christina, I've shared with you my story about, in my family, there's been a lot of disability, a lot of mental health issues. So I see the importance of caregivers. And you can probably tell from my accent, I'm English. Albeit I'm resident in America, I'm used to a system where, something goes wrong with a relative or there's care that's required. It's free. People step in, they take care of it, they get a paycheck for it. So for me, it's very interesting learning this journey that everyone is on here as a family caregiver, but more importantly about how we can support individuals and, do whatever we can to give back as a business. So very briefly, Monroe and Kent Home was started by my husband and I 3 years ago. The idea behind the brand is to provide exceptional customer service, but more importantly, to look at how we can utilize the profits of our business to give back within the communities in which we operate. So this was a great opportunity for Christina and I to reconnect. We'd done business in a former company that I used to run. And we're really looking forward to be able to provide some amazing furniture to your organization. And to allow people to just tell their story whilst enjoying the furniture, and then for that furniture to be available for people to bid on. And I think the overarching theme that I want to leave you here with is that if there's anything we can ever do as a business, whether it be donating product, donating cash, raising awareness to anything that you are doing as an organization, as Christina already knows, we're happy to do it.
Wonderful. Hey, Richard, thank you. This is such a big help. We are so grateful to partner with you. Hey, Christina, would you give us a little overview of the past year?
I can. First of all, thank you again, Richard and Monroe and Kent. And I got to tell you, I'm going to try not to cry because, and I'll keep it brief because you know me, I can't really do that well. But so Loving Them Forward, we officially became a nonprofit June 19th of 2019, but it really started March 16th of 2013, the day my mother had her stroke, and I was thrown into being her caregiver. It changed both of our lives. And as some of you know, it was a rough road for me. I almost lost my life myself behind caregiving. And when I realized that if I didn't take care of myself, I couldn't take care of my mother, I started to change my life. I changed my career and went into the retirement and senior industry. And I met, first of all, Miss Debbie Russell, who's a co-founder and the treasurer for Loving Them Forward. And me and Debbie and a few other people started running around and really finding resources for caregivers and seniors. We started a senior and family caregiver resource fair that is an annual fair. And it just grew from there. So Loving Them Forward was building, you know, really since 2017. And then we decided, we got together with some wonderful people, the founders, Laura Gazarian being one of them, and Debbie Russell and myself, and Debbie Mann and Ruth Cunningham. We all got together and decided, let's put a name to this and let's make it a nonprofit and let's really, really see how we can help the community. And we had no idea how much it would grow. It grew from just these, you know, couple of girls running around, a heartbroken girl, to 2 girls running around, to, you know, 5 girls trying to make something out of, we didn't know what we were trying to make, and then a whole community. What is so amazing about Loving Them Forward is the whole community that has rallied together. There's well over 70 businesses that are a collective, and they come together. Not only do they help provide resources for seniors and family caregivers, but what they also do is they, there's so many more businesses than are listed there, but what they also do is they learn themselves how to speak Caregiver 101. And so we're really empowering a whole community to go out and care for the people who are caring for the seniors in our community. And I'm just so incredibly grateful. I had no idea that we were going to grow this quickly and so much. And I just personally want to say thank you to all the people who were there when Loving Them Forward was just an idea. All the people have been there since day one, and all the people who've recently joined, the individuals, the businesses, and everybody else. We are so incredibly grateful that we get to help these caregivers heal and help these caregivers experience some life themselves and not be so invisible while they're loving the people that they care for, and they're loving them forward through their process. So thank you so much. And we have a wonderful video that Joey's put together just to celebrate our 1-year anniversary. And also, if you want to celebrate with us, put a review on our Facebook. You know, let us know if you've had any great experiences with Loving Them Forward. Most importantly, share Loving Them Forward so we can continue to grow and find those caregivers. Thank you guys so much. We're so grateful.
Thank you, Christina. Now we'll show the video. Debbie, would you let me know if you cannot hear it? And I have to change the setting. Thank you.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space with the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap you want to do. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. The love is too high, bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, take now, bring me down, can't none bring me down. The love is too high, bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. The love is too high, bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Hey, hey, hey. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Hey, hey. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
That was great. That was absolutely great. Well, hey, we are at the end of our time together. We have been asked to give a quick message to, Christina's asked me to make sure everybody knows it's time to follow on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, just so families who might not otherwise know about Loving Them Forward will find out about them, because a lot of people still don't know about them. But by following, by liking, by sharing, more families will be able to get the resources needed. The other thing that Christina asked us to let everybody know about is that we are still looking for a social media chairperson and a education chairperson, as well as more advisory council members. So please reach out to Christina or Debbie if you're interested in either of those opportunities. Christina, any last words for our guests today?
Yes, again, I cannot thank you all who are on the board, on the advisory council, and the community and all the caregivers. Richard from Monroe and Kent, I cannot thank you guys enough. You have no idea what a blessing you are, not only to this community, but myself and my mother. From myself and my mother, just thank you so much for rallying around us and making this dream possible. Thank you.
You're on mute, Benjamin.
Thank you, everyone. Look forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you so much, everyone. I just want to say thank you for all of our new board members, to the advisory council, Benjamin, for all of your help and what you've done for us to support us. And we'll continue to do this. Richard, we can't wait for the chairs. My living room is going to be full of chairs. So
we want to just also say a special thank you to everybody who was on the call whose video is not on just because you were as an attendee, not a panelist. We had Alice Wilkinson here, Bill Cohen, Christina, we have Daniel White, Gail Check. Thank you so much for being here. John Chapman, John Warner. Looks like we got Shara Sheets and Tamara Russell. Please pardon if I missed anybody, but thank you for being with us today. And all those on Facebook watching live, glad you came as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Love you.